Okay, hello everyone, and yeah, what I want to show you today is customized shape selectors in the web application. So let's say we have this picture that I took last year on the train trip, and we want to have this camera like selectable, the cap, and maybe the uh, lens hood here. So how do I do it? Uh, I actually use it for a different project, and I thought it's very interesting to share. What's the methodology here is we will overlay this JPEG with an SVG, which will have a shapes with this shape, of course, objects with this shape, transparent, not invisible, transparent, and yeah, and we use the CSS selector on it and standard hoovering. You can also use the JavaScript mouse events on it, also no problem. So yeah, going to point, I will open new document in Inkscape. I use Inkscape for my SVG files, and uh, yeah, you can use whatever you want. First thing I recommend doing is in the document properties, change everything to pixel. That that way you have a control what we are doing, and we put here our photo, localize it in 0. That's the easiest way. Now, if we select it, we place Control Shift and R, we will snap the document to it. You can also do it, I believe, here. That's, yeah, Control Shift R is even written here. Okay, we don't need you anymore. And now we will draw shapes around it. So, this is not a purpose to be exact here. So I will just uh, draw quickly something here. Here it depends how exact you want it to be, and then how you want your selector to be later on. So if you want your selector to be like visible, what we will do today, so we'll do like kind of like milky transparent over it. Then obviously you want it to be a little bit better. If you want it, like I had in my previous application, that I just take the mouse event over it, then actually doesn't matter how exact it is. So we have the second object here. Let's make it white, and the first one it will be this. Then okay. Mm, Now, if we want something fancy with it, we can add the ID. So we open this object properties from now object properties here. So we can add an ID here. Important thing is to hit set. If you don't do it, it will not pick ID. And I think we will not use ID in this application, but yeah, if you would like to, you can do it. Now in the XML editor, there's another way to do it, which I will show in the different video. But here in the edit, we can have an XML editor, and here we can add a class to our document. So we say class, and we'll say what we'll say SVG select will be our class. Yeah, I think that's a better way of classes. Class select class SVG. Okay, and then we have it. We could actually save it like it is, but then we will have this JPEG embedded in our SVG, which will be just huge. So we are not going to do it. Delete it. Before I do that, I want to do another thing. Select this object, go to the coloring here, and in the fill, we'll set the opacity to 0 and no stroke. So they are completely invisible now. I don't even know. I think you cannot click it anymore. You have to select it. Okay, delete this. So objects are still there. File, save as, and I suggest to select it as a plain SVG. It's just a smaller file. Inkscape adds a lot of their own uh, objects properties, which we don't need, and we will not work on this document anymore. So when I work on my files, I usually save in the Inkscape format, and then when I use it for HTML, I save it for separately as a plain one. Okay, so now we have here our select SVG, and you can see it has these three paths with IDs, and this one does not have a class. We messed up something here. Our camera does not have a class. How does this happen? Question. Select. Maybe I didn't hit enter on it. All right, then again, plain SVG, select SVG, replace. Okay, and now we could as well just type it in here. The problem with it is sometimes I work on something and I start like, oh, I just miss a class here, or I just want to change this ID, and I don't need to go back to Inkscape and export it again. But then I type it here, and then I forget to change it later on in Inkscape, and then I export finally, I export again, and my JavaScript doesn't work anymore, so it's a mess. All right, in our index HTML, we have a very pure thing, so we put ourselves here a picture container. And we put ourselves here the image, photo, JPEG, and we copy paste this SVG. You can just put the SVG the same way like the image, but then the CSS selectors don't work. So yeah, I strongly recommend doing it that way. If the file is very big and you don't want to do it that way, there is a JavaScript library SVG inject, which I just recently found, and it has its potential. So I will definitely explore it a little bit more. Okay, so that's what we have here. I actually prepared already the CSS before, but I think I had different class. So let's just quickly body 100% viewport width, 100% viewport height, flex center, delete the margin so we have a like full window application centered, picture container, width and height of our picture, all the child, so both picture and SVG. So here is the important thing. Here is the thing where we are overlaying the SVG, and if the SVG is the second one here, it will be actually on top. Yeah? If you have like a different order here for whatever reason, you may use the Z index, but this is perfectly overlapping these two files. Then this is a different class that I had before. Actually, when I recorded it before, I forgot that my recording software was set to low resolution because I was recording something before and basically texting it. So yeah, I had to do it again. Okay, so on select we just said okay, cursor to pointer, and on hover we do opacity 0.3. We do important here because the opacity 0.3 is in the element, in the styling element of the object itself, and it has a higher CSS Pro priority. All right, so what you get? can see actually this hovering is maybe let me quickly change it to maybe to show it a little bit more. Okay. All right. So now we can see that it really is cut like that. That here is nothing, and I go here, it's already hovering effect. Mouse events work on that, so you can do your JavaScript mouse events, mouse enter, mouse leave. If you just want like the JavaScript hovering, click of course. And one more thing I want to show you, if I do the element selector here, like it would actually show me a rectangle around it. But as I have shown you, the select the if the mouse event actually works only on our object. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I hope you liked it, and you all have a good day.